So for another video idea that I had for you is ways to help yourself and your family cope during hard times. One of those, because the holidays are coming up, and especially if you've lost a loved one, or it's just you're just battling some trials that only you know or that your family know and you tend not to share. There are definitely some ways to help you and your family during the holiday season and just in general, in life in general. For one, when I dealt with the loss of somebody, it was really hard, and I would have these dreams that they were still alive and they were there with me, or that they woke up, and then I would go to share all this information of what had happened the last couple of weeks, and then I would wake up and I would be sad because I realized they weren't really there, physically there with me. I feel like they're still there, but they're not physically there with me. Little things would remind me of them and it would make me sad. So some of the advice that I have for you is I kept a notebook. And some people may say this is really silly or a little crazy, but that's okay. I kept a notebook where I would write them letters because it helped me cope. Now, both of these were notebooks that I had actually given them. I would write little messages to them, but for me, this one was mine. Like, I would write messages to them. For me, it helped me during especially the first couple of weeks and months after the loss. I felt like I was still informing them of my life and talking to them. Another thing that I did later on was I would write letters to God and just explain how I needed Him and how I felt. And I would read the Bible and then I would write a message about it. And I had a note in that same notebook. It was called my Happy Notes book because I would write, even in the middle of all this depressing, sad moments, I would write something good that had happened, something I was blessed about, something that made me smile, made me happy. And even in my letters to them about my life and how it was going, I would also write in there a happy note, a happy memory. I would, if I remembered a funny story, I would write it in that notebook. That was their notebook. And it was kind of like helping me through the loss of them. I also did not take down photos. I left photos up. I had things in my house that reminded me of them, and for me, that I found comfort in that. I also had their pets, so that was a huge help for me because I felt like I could just grab them and hold them and love them, and they were there for me. And so I really, really, really appreciated that and needed that. Don't be afraid to do things a little different, to write a note, to talk, to remember them. It's all really, really good. I used to go to our favorite restaurants, and I may be by myself or I may have gone with a friend, and I would remember those funny stories and remember those great times. Also, when birthdays came up, holidays, traditions that we created, I would still embrace those traditions. My best friend liked brownies, and so on her birthday, I made a brownie, made this big pan of brownies, and I ate some of them thinking of her. And I would think, this birthday, you're in heaven having an amazing time. And those were things that helped me, and I carried on, especially for that first year, I carried on the traditions that I had set because it helped me. And some people may say that is absolutely insane. Why are you doing that? But for me, it really helped me mourn and remember them and honor them the way that I remembered them in the great stories and the funny stories. And me writing those stories down and reading them later, I was like, oh my gosh, that's still funny. So those are some things that helped me remember them and love them and honor them for the difference that they made in my life. So I hope some of that helps. For me, I didn't have a headstone to go to grieve. And in respect, I'm glad I didn't, because to me they were everywhere. They weren't just there. For me, they were in my life. They were in my house. They were those memories that you crack up laughing about when you remember them. And then for me, also talking about them. I tell my friends about them. I tell my family. I still talk about them. For me, that's the way I remember and respect them. So there's definitely different ideas and things that you can do. I had a book. I had pictures, I had their pets, and that was a big thing that helped me, and I kept those traditions alive. If you have any advice or ideas that you use to help you, please go ahead and link those below, or send me an email if you prefer not to link them below. And we can always learn from each other and help each other out during this holiday season, because it may not be you, but it may be somebody you love that's going through a change or dealing with a death, or just a life change, and they need a little bit of help to get through that change. So go ahead and link it below. And you know what, if you're watching this and it's not you, but you know somebody who it can benefit, be happy to please share. Let's talk and let's help each other out through life. Thanks guys, talk to you later.